coming to you from the city beautiful Chicago, Illinois, where tonight WGN Sports on the U presents White Sox baseball. As Paul Konerko, Jose Abreu, Adam Eaton and the Sox as they get set to butt heads with Billy Butler, Terry Hosmer, Alex Gordon, and the Kansas City Royals. Hi, everybody, and welcome. With Steve Stone, I'm Ken Harrell, since we get set to bring you Game 2 of this 4-game series. In the opener last night, we had ourselves a good one, a 3-3 tie, and all of a sudden in the 8th inning, they scored 2, and they scored 1 in the 9th. They won it 6-3. So the Royals now, magic number is 1 in this wild card race has been nice.
For the first time since 1985, it appears that the Royals are going to go to the postseason, be it the wild card game. And as you can see, Kansas City has got a lead over Oakland. They both have leads over Seattle and Cleveland. Almost impossible for the Indians. They can technically still make it, but that's an outside shot. And it looks to me like the Royals, pretty good team going into postseason, but they're going to probably have to play a one and done with Oakland.
Well, good news. Tonight, tomorrow, and Sunday, Paulie's in that lineup.
Nice to see him in the lineup, and he's had good luck with Jeremy Guthrie. So hopefully tonight that bat can come to life. And Paul Konerko, who's hit a couple of home runs against Kansas City this year, can do what he's done consistently against their ball club. He's been in 250 games against them. He's driven in 150 runs. And so maybe he's got a little magic left. We know he has 3 games left. There you look at the numbers, lifetime against Kansas City. They're pretty impressive. And tonight, he's going to enjoy every minute, not only of this game, but thinking ahead to the last 2 in that huge celebration tomorrow night.
All right, sit back, relax, and strap it down. White Sox baseball coming your way. Chicago White Sox baseball. It's Miller time. By Ford, proud sponsor of your Chicago White Sox. Check out America's best-selling brand at your local Ford store or online at localfordstores.com. And by Xfinity, your home for the most live sports.
To second by Fassero. The pitch. Konerko hits a high fly ball deep left field. A home run for Konerko, his first as a member of the Sox.
Chicago White Sox are the 2005 American League Central Division champions.
Ground ball to first. The White Sox have won the pennant.
Bases loaded, 2 out with Konerko on. And he rips one into left. Konerko, grand slam.
Pitch to Palmero. A ground ball past Jenks up the middle of the infield. Uribe has it. He throws. Out! Out! A White Sox winner and a world championship. The White Sox have won the World Series.
This is as good as it gets. The Sox are world champions in Chicago. Go crazy.
Konerko is down.
That does not look good at all. Hit him in the head. Help him pull me off the field. And he's going to first base.
I promise you, they will always be with me.
Stay tuned. The weekend salute to Captain Paul Konerko begins next. Live Sports. Tonight's game's available in Spanish on your SAP audio setting, provided by 97.5 FM ESPN Deportes, Chicago's first and only Spanish language sports radio station. So on a beautiful night for baseball, 71 degrees. The wind, not much of a factor. Let's take a look at how Ned Yost is going to line up his Royals. Mercedes Escobar leading it off, and Nori Aoki in the 2 spot with Lorenzo Cain, who has been doing pretty well against the Sox this year. Eric Hosmer, Billy Butler, Alex Gordon, Salvador Perez, Omar Infante at second, and Mike Moustakas playing third and hitting 9th. The defense and how they'll line up behind Hector Noese. It's Taylor, Eaton, and Danks in the outfield. Connor Gillespie, Alexei Ramirez, Marcus Semien, and Paul Konerko in the infield. Adrian Nieto gets a nod behind the plate. And there's a look at Hector Noese. 8-11 this year. His ERA 4.76 on for his 27th start. He's given up 28 home runs. That's a pretty high total. The umpires, Rob Drake behind the plate, Alfonso Marquez at first, Ted Barrett, the crew chief, is at second, and Chris Conroy is at third. And there's a look at the captain, Paul Konerko. His last 3 games, starting with this one this evening. So they've thrown the ball around the infield, which means we're ready to play baseball. And I turn it over to my play-by-play partner, Ken Harrelson.
Hi, Steve. Thank you. And once again, good evening, everyone, and welcome to White Sox baseball right here over WGN Sports on the U. So happy you could join us for game 2 of this 4-game set, this final set of the season. And Alcides Escobar will lead it off for the Royals. He was 1 for 5 with an RBI last night, a big RBI, a 2-out single. They kept the momentum going for Kansas City. And here is the first pitch of the ball game. Out in front a little bit. He comes in hitting at 282, 3 homers, and 51 knocked in.
Hector is going to hold down this ball club. One of the guys you have to retire is Escobar. He swiped 31 bases, been caught just 6 times for a team that has swiped 151. And that leads the major leagues.
And he starts it off with a solid single in the hole.
This ball on the outside part of the plate, but it's up. And the man you didn't want to get on gets on.
And in the other game of note, top of the 4th inning in Detroit, Minnesota leading the Tigers 4-0. But right here is Aoki. Nori hitting at 283, a homer. He's driven in 41. He was 1 for 4 last night. Takes the bunt and takes the ball.
Aoki strikes out very infrequently, 49 times and 481 at bats. He has laid down 8 sacrifices, however. It's tying him for the team lead.
And this is the 16th time that we played these guys. And unfortunately, in the first 16, they've won 11 of them.
A lot of the men did exactly like last night's did. You battle them for a long time, and all of a sudden you just give way. A couple of defensive mistakes, and a team with a great bullpen makes that hold up.
Get fouled. It won't. So here comes Escobar. He's going to score on the triple by Aoki, and it's 1-0 Kansas City.
RBI number 42 for Nori Aoki. This is a 4-game series. I believe when it's over, they're going to have to drag that man out of the ballpark and onto their plane, because Aoki swings a magic wand against our Sox. This is a fastball. It's right down the middle. Not known as a pull hitter, but he pulls it into the corner. 2 hitters, 1 run, and another 90 feet away.
For Lorenzo Cain, hitting at 304. And here at our ballpark, 330 down the left field line, 335 down the right field line, 375 in the gaps end, 400 straight away center. Aoki with that 11 or 12 series against us in Kansas City, setting a new Kansas City 3-game record. And there's a base hit. 2-0. That was not the best I've seen the ball hit in a 3-game series, but it was the most hits I've ever seen in a 3-game series.
That time he just reaches down, gets a fastball. Driving in run number 52. Didn't matter where Aoki hit it in Kansas City, but it was going to find a place to land safely. He had a lot of bloops and bleeders, one real hard hit ball in the bunch.
So here's Hosmer. We played Baltimore series, a 3-game series. Boog Powell came to the plate. I believe it was 14 times in that series. He hit 13 line drives. A couple of them went out of the ballpark.
How many hits he wind up with out of that?
A bunch, but not 11. No, he probably was 8, something like that, maybe 9. But with the exception of one at bat, every time he swung at bat, it was a bullet. Hosmer, 3 for 5 last night with a home run. Comes in at 276, 9 long ones, and 58 driven in.
Cain can run also. 27 stolen bags and caught 5 times.
Well, if you can't get the first 3 guys out in this lineup, you got a problem.
It's a little tougher as they move down through.
I wish we could hit a reset button. Tee up a mulligan, but we can't.
If you're on the mound now, what you're thinking about is hold them to 2. That's you got to hold them to 2. They scored already. And if you're Adrian Nieto behind the plate, you got a pretty good idea that perhaps on this pitch, anticipating either a straight change or a breaking ball, Cain's going to be going.
Minnesota now leading 6-0. Top of the 4th. As Hosmer, who has a tremendous hitting zone. 4 or 5 inches inside off the plate, 4 or 5, 6 inches outside off the plate. So you put those 9 inches on the 17. You got a 27-inch plate to pitch to him.
That pitch was way outside. He was able to just spoil it off the end of the bat.
There he goes. And that is chopped foul. Hosmer, just 24 years old.
At the very least, this is going to be an 8-pitch at bat, as Hosmer's been spoiling a bunch of them. Almost the entire at bat. The Wesley has stayed away. Is the skipper of these Royals, Ned Yost.
Nieto with a nice pick. So a full count.
Now you get an opportunity to strike him out and throw him out. If you can get the ball by him. Hosmer's fanned 91 times this year. As in 128 games.
There he goes. There's the striking out, and he's safe. So he gone, 1 out.
28th stolen base for Cain. He runs himself into scoring position. Looking back for contact, there is none. He makes it easy.
This Kansas City club might be starting to swing the bats at exactly the right time. And the reason I say that is just like watching last night. Every time Cain got a decent pitch to hit, he hit it hard. He had 4 hits last night.
They'll have a pretty decent advantage in that because they won the season series from Oakland. If it is Oakland that they hook up with, they're going to play them in Kansas City.
Well, they might just go ahead and win this division if they win tonight. Detroit loses.
Well, they haven't given up on the division, certainly, and you never would, even with 3 games left. But they can look up a scoreboard just like we can, and they realize that it's a long way back, even at Comerica Park for the Tigers from 6-0 down.
Here's Billy B. Butler at 267. 9 homers, 65 knocked in. He had an RBI last evening. There, man on the right. Giordano Ventura. He will be out there on Sunday. Little guy throws 100 miles an hour. With a 12-6 curveball.
Stuff we saw from Ventura in Kansas City. There weren't a lot of players that were going to hit him that particular evening. If he carries that stuff forward, he's had great stuff all year. This young man bursting on the scene is going to be toward the top part of this rotation, who might suffer the loss of Shields. He's going to be a free agent at the end of this year.
Well, that game he beat us in Kansas City is one that you don't even worry about. After the game's over, you just got beat. That's baseball.
Yeah, he's 14-10 this year, with an ERA just over 3.
There are nights that pitcher is going to be a better pitcher than you are hitter, and that was certainly the case in Kansas City. Three-two count to Butler. And there's a base hit back through the middle. Who's going to score? And it's a 3-0 lead.
Butler for the last week has been one of the hottest of all the Royal hitters. He drives in his 66th run of the year, and that brings Don Cooper out from the dugout to talk with Hector. He takes this high change, takes it right back up the middle. 5 hitters, 4 hits, and 3 runs later, Hector in trouble.
Well, if there's anything positive about this inning so far, it's taking a long time, and Guthrie got nowhere to go. Throw. That's a tough way to get that advantage.
Well, we can use whatever help we can against Guthrie, because he's 2-1 this year against the Sox. 3.70 ERA, career-wise 9-8, and ERA just under 3.5.
Well, he's been the guy that won the 2 biggest games in the last week and a half for this ball club. He beat Detroit twice.
That's a pretty good trick.
He's not afraid. He's not afraid to go out there and beat you, even if he doesn't have his good stuff. That's what I like about Jeremy Guthrie. Gordon, 2 for 4 with an RBI last night, hitting at .267, 19 homers and 74 knocked in. Oh, and 2. Alex, one of the most highly touted college players coming into the big leagues when he first broke in years. There you go. 2-0.
Good curveball, straight downer. That was his best pitch of the evening.
Perez, high pop-up can of corn. And that will retire the side, but the crooked number goes up on that board, and after half inning of play, they lead it 3-0.
there tonight. It's Adam Eaton, Alexei Ramirez, Jose Abreu, founded by Conor Gillespie, Paul Konerko. 439 career homers, with Danks, Taylor, Nieto, and Semien rounding it out. The defense, and how they'll line up behind Jeremy Guthrie. Gordon Kane and Aoki in the outfield, with Moustakas, Escobar, and Fonte and Hosmer in the infield. Salvador Perez behind the plate, and Jeremy Guthrie. At 12 and 11, his ERA just above 4 1/4, on for his 32nd start. He's likely to go over 200 innings, which keeps you out of their very talented bullpen.
And before we show you our picks to click, you at home select yours as Adam Eaton. 1 for 5 last night, hitting at .296, a homer. He's driven in 35.
Speak softly and carry a huge glove.
There's a chopper 2 hopper. All right, so with 1 out, let's check out our picks to click tonight. Jim Angio, our director and crew. Well, Michael Taylor. So Steve's going with Conor Gillespie. And Phyllis, Tom, and Deb Leonakis at Roseland Garden Center in Roseland, just outside of South Bend. We're going to go with Marcus Semien. First pitch strike. Alexei. 0 for 5 last night, hitting at .274, 15 homers, 72 dropped in. That pitch is way off the plate, called a strike. You're going to give him that one. We got a big problem.
I would say Rob Drake got a big outside corner.
There's a little pop up. That man can throw some leather right there. Hosmer. 2 down. Here's Abreu. Jose at 315, 35, and 105.
Came up in a similar situation last night against big game James Shields. 2 out, nobody on in the first. And he drove the ball through the infield.
And that's back through the middle for a base hit. He is now 2 for 10 lifetime off Guthrie.
Guthrie, a good fielding pitcher, but that ball was hit like a rocket.
Guthrie is a terrific athlete.
And because the ball is hit to the arm side, he can't get the glove in time.
There's first pitch strike to Gillespie. 0 for 4 last night. Hitting at .285, 7 homers and 57 driven in. And Kansas City, a lot of Kansas City fans in the stands. Also, they brought a large contingent of front office people. And the owner, one of the best owners in the game, David Glass.
Well, they figure, and justifiably so, that one is rifled foul, left with just the handle of the bat. They believe that they're going to be celebrating the postseason most likely this evening. They're hoping that they can actually celebrate a division title if the Tigers will cooperate, but they appear like they're going to come back against Minnesota, even though they got a long climb left.
And also they brought with them my all-time favorite baseball player, number 5, George Brett. Good to see George. Always good to see George. What a player. What an attitude. What a winner. Out in front on that one at 84. Chops it. And it goes foul. Konerko on deck. So 1 on, 2 out, 2 balls, 2 strikes. Go get him. He got a tremendous jump right there. That ball was a low line drive. But meanwhile, that'll retire the side after one. It is 3-0 Royals. First pitch strike to Omar Infante leading off here, and we're already in the second inning. He's hitting .254, 6 homers, 66 knocked in. And the count very quickly, 0-2. Omar was 0 for 4 last night.
Hector would dearly love to have a 1-2-3 inning with a minimum of pitches. There's a lot of duress in that first inning.
He gone. 3 strikeouts now for Noesi. And join our Sox as we honor tonight and especially tomorrow night, Paul Konerko night. He'll also be here playing Sunday, so get to the ballpark early for an unforgettable pregame ceremony celebrating the amazing career of a White Sox legend. That is tomorrow. Purchase tickets, visit whitesox.com/Konerko. Moustakas 1 for 4 last evening.
However, he did hit the ball pretty hard a couple of times, so he might be breaking out of it at a great time for Kansas City.
Moustakas had faced Noeste 3 times and it was 3 for 3. So he walks. And that'll bring up Escobar, who started off that 3-run first with a sharp single in the hole between third and short.
Gillespie in fairly close. He knows that Escobar is a very accomplished putter.
He's just a good player.
He's got a great arm. He gives him a lot of range at shortstop. His counterpart probably has just a touch more range than Escobar. That's one of the reasons why Ramirez will most likely win the Gold Glove this year. That was a nice stop by Adrian as he dug one out in the dirt and made sure that Moustakas didn't wind up in scoring position.
Moustakas 1 for 1 in stolen bases. There he goes. And a count 1-2.
It looked like he was going to get thrown out if Escobar missed. He wound up fouling it off, but that wasn't much of a lead. It looked like Moustakas spun his wheels.
Well, he was going to get thrown out at least by 10 feet, yeah, maybe 15.
That was not a particularly good jump.
A little bit low. Three runs, 4 hits, no errors for them. No runs, 1 hit, and no errors for us here in the top of the second inning if you're just joining us.
Barely able to stay alive. He took the pitch off the outside corner and fouled it off to the right. Escobar originally property of the Milwaukee Brewers. He made a very good trade by acquiring this young man.
And there's the base hit. So 2 on, 1 out.
That curveball down and out of the zone. Escobar stays right with it, taking it through the left side. And one of the prices for getting him over in the Royal uniform was Zach Greinke. Unieski Betancourt also went the Brewers' way. They got Lorenzo Cain, Sadie Escobar, and Jake Odorizzi, who they spun off in a deal. Did real well on that trade.
Aoki with an RBI triple and a run scored last inning. That was his 6th triple of the season. Hits that ball sharply down past Rusty Kuntz. The venerable Rusty Kuntz. There is one of the great guys in the game of baseball. We also have Don Wakamatsu, who's one of the great guys. That ball into left field. Michael is there. That's a hang Wolfham for Aoki. Well, we talked about it extensively in Kansas City when he was going 11 for 12 in the 3-game series. The only thing he cannot do is he can't throw and he doesn't hit home runs. Outside of that, he does everything else well. He can catch it. And he can certainly make contact. And he wields that proverbial magic wand.
What's unusual is that he can't throw because he was a pitcher both in junior high school and high school. So he didn't start playing the outfield until college. You would think that a former pitcher would have a fairly strong arm. He didn't carry it with him.
That's why he made him an outfielder.
He was a good outfielder.
He's a good player. Everybody they got on his team is a good player. Cain takes first pitch strike. Chopper, 2 hopper. Gotta hurry. Okay. They gain. And that'll retire to the side. We'll stand a couple. And it's
Field there, way back. Maybe looks up. You can't put it on the board. Yes! 2-run homer by Paul Konerko. And it
that 6'2" good guy.
And that, my friends, April 5th, 1999, at Seattle opening day against Jeff Fassaro, his first home run in a White Sox uniform. April 5th, 1999.
Right here today, he's getting a standing ovation from a pretty good crowd at U.S. Cellular Field. As soon as he walked up to the plate, it started. It hasn't stopped yet.
Ball. 14 for 52 lifetime off. Guthrie takes first pitch strike. 14 hits. 10 of them stayed in the park. At the bottom of the zone and the count 0-2. Got him. And that is out number 1.
That's where he ranks in White Sox history. First in total bases, second in home runs, second in runs batted in, third in hits, fourth in runs, second in games played. What a run. 16-year run in that White Sox uniform.
Gordon Danks gets that one, yanks it foul. Breaks his bat. Gordon 0 for 3 lifetime off Jeremy. Game 3 tomorrow night. Johnny Danks against Danny Duffy in the final game of the year. Chris Bassett against Bonaventura. Jordan 1 for 3 last night with an RBI. Lately, he's been running the bat pretty good. He's been hitting into some. There he strikes out. 2 down. Been hitting some bad luck. Hitting it right at people. So here is Michael Taylor. Big man out of Apopka, Florida. Same high school with Zach Greinke. Two 2-0 the count. Tigers threatening again. They've scored a 6-2 Minnesota, bottom of the 5th inning. And the count 3-1. It's full. And that's ball 4. So the 2-out walk, first walk issued by Guthrie, and that'll bring Nieto. Adrian hitting at .243, a couple homers and 7 knocked in.
He's been a better right-handed as opposed to a left-hand hitter. Both of his home runs, however, coming from the left side.
Takes a strike, 78 miles an hour. Cabrera just knocked in Ian Kinsler, so it's now 6-3. And that is the 3rd out. After 2, it's 3-0 Kansas City.
By Jeff Vukovich, your local Nationwide insurance agent serving the area for 36 years. To join the nation, visit jeffvuk.com because Nationwide is on your side.
Here in the top of the 3rd inning as they lead at 3-0. It'll be Hosmer, Butler, and Gordon. Jackknife and the count 1-0. Pitching change in Detroit. Another jackknife. This one catches the corner. So the count 1-1. Pretty good pitch. Didn't get it.
Trying to stay up and in. Everything has been there in this at bat against Hosmer.
Full count. Second walk issued by Wesley, and here comes Butler. Had an RBI single right back through the middle.
You don't use Hosmer to steal very much. He's swiped 4 bases, been caught twice. But to stay out of a double play situation, they might use a hit and run with Butler. He was grounded into 20.
Well, the funny thing about it, Hosmer can run.
If he gets going, yeah, he can.
He takes ball 1. Hosmer's first year, 11 bases. Next year he stole 16. Last year he stole 11. Take your time. Rack them up. 168th double play turn. And Fan Appreciation Day is Sunday, September 28th. All fans will receive a free ticket to a 2015 April or May home game, excluding opening day. And one lucky fan will win a diamond suite. So hundreds of other prizes will be given away as our Sox say thanks for your support this season. So to purchase tickets, visit whitesox.com/tickets. That is high into right field and deep. Danks back at the fence. He just missed it. Meanwhile, we go to the bottom of the third. It is still 3-0.
And click on the Game Zone banner for updated stats and information. The Game Zone is powered by St. Xavier University. It's tradition and innovation, and this is where they meet.
Marcus Semien, Adam Eaton, Alexei Ramirez here in our half of the third inning as we need 3 to tie. 1-1 the count. Three hopper. And Sox fans, check out the Xfinity Fundamentals deck overlooking left field here at our ballpark. It's accessible from 100, 300, and 500 levels. Young Sox fans can learn baseball fundamentals from White Sox Training Academy coaches. Now the space features batting and pitching cages, base running areas, and baseball skill instruction. It's all from Xfinity, your home for the most live sports.
Adams squared around early and made it look like he was going to fake a bunt. But Moustakas stayed in on the grass at third anyway, and he fouled it off. When he did bunt, it looked like he was trying to push it right at Escobar at shortstop.
Huge gap out there in right center if he can find it. But he's in the big hole, nothing in two. Two gone.
Third strikeout for Guthrie, who's done a very good job of changing speeds on all of his pitches tonight. That's a breaking ball down. Nice stop by Perez.
Lex, they fouled out to Hosmer. Right to Moustakas. So that is a 1-2-3 inning, and we're into the fourth, trailing 3-0. Lower third of the Kansas City off order here. At the top of the fourth, Perez, Infante, and Moustakas. Perez takes first pitch strike. He popped up to Jordan Danks in right field. Going to the count.
Young lady has a piece of pizza. Now all she needs to do is find a place to actually eat it.
Got him pretty good. High pop up. Paulie. One out. So here's the veteran Infante. Omar, 32 years old, struck out his first trip. Takes first pitch strike. Very quickly, 0-2. Has laced for a single into center field.
Six hits now for the Royals, and this breaking ball kind of rolled over the outside corner. There wasn't any late break, and Infante was able to follow it all the way and rope it into center field.
Moustakas drew a walk his first trip. Takes it right at the top of the zone. Inside corner, and the count 0-1. Oh, nice recognition right there.
Says he's safe.
Said he missed him. And here comes Robin.
He's going to take his time, and he's going to look back at Mark Parent to see if it's yay or nay on the review. Looks like Ted Barrett is out there talking with him. We'll take a look at it. Can't really tell from that angle.
Well, to me, it looks like he's okay. He's safe. But we'll see what they rule on it.
That angle looked like he might have had him.
It's different. Yeah, that's a different angle.
That one looked like he had him.
But
I think the front of the uniform did move.
Well, from that angle, it looks like you got it. Yeah. But it was good recognition on Marcus. He saw immediately he had to come in and take that on the short hop in order to get a pair.
One of the things he'll probably do next time in a similar situation is run right at the base runner. You run right at the base runner instead of waiting for him to arrive. Now, it looked like the uniform moved in front. We'll have to see what they say in New York. But for Marcus, you got to put on that tag and make the throw to first. And they get Moustakas easily at first. Now we'll see if he did tag him and if there is definitive proof.
Tigers making a pitching change. Minnesota scored one. They lead at 7-3, sixth inning, with men on first and third, nobody out. He's out. So a good job by Marcus. That's a double play. That's 169th double play turned by our Sox.
Oh, yeah. He does. Way back, he looks up. You can put it on the board. Yes. Number 41.
And that was his single season highest home run total, and that coming 10 years ago this weekend, September 28th, off Nate Robertson in Detroit. So here's Abreu leading off for us here in our half of the fourth inning. Takes first pitch strike. Abreu, hard single right back through the middle. It is now 8-3 Minnesota with 2 on, nobody out. Dozier has 3 RBIs this evening, and him 69 on the season. And that's into left center field. Sox fans, all season long you score with Papa John's Pizza. Now when the Sox score 5 or more runs, you get 50% off your entire online order at papajohns.com with the promo code SOX5 the following day. And of course that is at participating Papa John's locations. Gillespie hit a low line drive into right center field that Lorenzo Cain got a tremendous jump on and actually made that play very easy.
Lorenzo, just an outstanding center fielder, gets very good reads. And, of course, long strides, because he's a big man. Like Devon White was in center field. Not quite that good.
Well, 3 years ago in this ballpark right here, he put an exhibition on. That was one of the greatest defensive series you'll ever see. In fact, I went down. That was the last game of the series. After I went down to congratulate him, he was in the training room. But he made some catches that were just eye poppers. Softly hit. 2 down.
Guthrie's getting that fastball up there at 94, which is a good fastball, especially if you're hitting your spots with it. But where he's handcuffed Sox hitters has been breaking ball down, a straight change, and the changing speeds on the fastball, which a whole lot of guys don't understand how to do. He's doing it very well tonight.
And once again, a reminder, if you're just tuning in, Paulie playing tonight. He's going to play tomorrow night, and he's going to play Sunday. Sunday will be his last game. Checks it up. A little comebacker. And a 1-2-3 inning. A 7 in a row retired by Guthrie. He's got a 3-0 lead. It's the top of the 5th inning. 3-6-0 for them. 0-1-0 for us. First pitch, strike 2. Alcides Escobar, who was 2 for 2. 2 singles in the hole between third and short. And he has scored a run.
Is the White Sox flat cap that was given out last night, halfway to St. Patrick's Day. Handsome hat.
Broken bat. Nice pick by Paulie. He's one of the best at that.
He's got to get rid of it quickly. Doesn't get a whole lot on the throw. But when you're throwing to number 14 at first base, he's going to save you a lot of errors.
Well, we mentioned it the other day. In 05, what went unheralded and underneath the radar because of the pitching and everything on our ball club was the defense of Paul Konerko all season long. It was amazing how many errors he saved those infielders.
Here's our Xfinity Speed replay, and it came in the first inning. Escobar on. Aoki with a 3-base hit into the corner in right field. And then slides into third easily. Xfinity, your home for the most live sports.
Makes it a lot easier to win ball games. You've got a first baseman, a good one, that can make the picks on the bad throws and can catch the pop-ups. Foul ground. Paulie, they can't run. That's the only thing he couldn't do on the baseball field. But he was great on pop-ups. And if he got there, they were caught. Two and two the count.
That went one hop right into the Sox dugout, right over the screening. And unfortunately, appears it didn't get a piece of anybody, but it was close. That Carroll wound up with the baseball.
Two down. And that'll bring up Lorenzo Cain, who is 1 for 2 with an RBI, a stolen base, and a run scored. Next ball one. Renzo, his dad passed away when he was 4 years old. Mother worked 2 jobs. Got out for the basketball team in the 9th grade and got cut. Didn't get fully involved in baseball until the 10th grade. That's a little can of corn out there, and that's a real nice inning. First 1-2-3 inning for Noesi. Halfway home, trailing 3-0.
Way back, he looks up. That is number 300 for Jermaine Dye. That ball hit deep to left field. Anderson goes back, looks up. You can put it on the board. Yes, and that's number 300 for Paulie. Marcy.
That is something you probably will never see or hear of again. Guys hitting their 300th home runs in consecutive at-bats. Wow. As Danks can't get it, and the count 1-1. That was back on April 13th, 2009. Troy. Zach Knight.
I think you've seen something that's once in a lifetime.
Yeah. Yep, that's for sure.
Minnesota now leading 10-3. And the Royals starting to feel pretty good about Minnesota's chances.
Well, guess who got a big base hit? Yes, that's out number 1 with the bases loaded.
Pitches. He's doing a great job. Was it the guy that always looms large against our ball club?
Kurt Suzuki.
The guy who catches.
I'm telling you, he's something. he and Aoki against us.
Unfortunately,
Ryan Rayburn's out of the picture now.
I don't think they're going to be together anytime soon. Those two.
And gets through there. Did well, so big man Michael Tucker. The Cruz picked a click. Good call, guys. He's now 1 for 1 with a walk.
Inside out swing. Takes advantage of the fact that Infante doesn't have the greatest range, but he's very sure-handed. And slices ball away from it. So I got a chance to talk with Michael before the game and asked him where he spends the winters. Where does he live? He said, we really haven't figured out where to live yet. We've lived all over the place until his baseball situation clarifies itself. He doesn't want to get permanent.
First pitch, breaking ball strike to Nieto. Well, Michael is an interesting guy. He is big, powerful, very, very powerful.
This is his 8th season of professional baseball. I watched him in the Arizona Fall League where he was all everything. Top prospect at the time with the Philly organization. And to this point, it hasn't worked out, but you never know when the light turns on.
Well, you don't. And one thing about Todd Steverson, he was instrumental in recommending him for us to pick him up. And Todd still thinks he has an excellent chance of becoming a very productive major league hitter. If Todd thinks that's good enough for me. There he is. And that's top foul. Count hangs at 1-2. If you're just joining us, they scored 3 runs in the first inning. First 3 guys got base hits, and Hosmer struck out, and Butler had an RBI single. Quick 3-0 lead. Since then, they have only 2 hits. And a southpaw. First and 30.
Adrian thought this one was inside. Had some late movement, but Perez did ease it back, so he might have thought it was inside also.
So here's Marcus. Grounded out to Moustakas. Takes first pitch strike. Taking some other scores. Top of the ninth in Cleveland, 1-0 triumph over Tampa Bay. Kluber, guess who?
What a year he's had.
He's as good as there is in this league. Right-handed. Got 11 strikeouts through 8. To me, he and let me rephrase it. To me, Chris Sale and Kluber are the 2 top candidates for the Cy Young.
I think Felix is going to be certainly in the equation with his ERA second. But I think if they look at all things Chris Sale, what he's done, he's going to get a lot of votes.
He knocks it down. It's going to be a base hit.
Now they're going to check on the hand of Jeremy Guthrie. This is just a reflex. Something that pitchers shouldn't do, but most of them do. Pretty hard to flag that one down. That's a hard hit one hopper.
They've always amazed me over the years. In this game, I have seen some pitchers get hit with, I mean, unbelievable line drives that react. Chest, arm, hand, and they go over, pick it up, throw them out, and then they fall.
You're not going to allow a guy to really hurt you and still get a base hit.
They've always amazed me. They always have. You get to the other side of the page, you get some pitchers out there. Anything that's hit back, I don't care how hard or how soft, they're trying to get out of there as fast as they can. I mean, they don't want any part of that baseball. So Adam grounds out. Get a couple of hits. Grand pair. We've left 4 in this game, and we have completed 5, trailing 3-0. Top of the 6th inning, Hosmer, Butler, and Gordon, heart of the order, the iron of this Kansas City order. Hosmer has struck out and walked. Taking some other scores. Phillies beating Atlanta 5-4, top of the 9th at Citizens Bank Ballpark. Top of the 5th in Texas, 3-1 Oakland. That's out of play left side. Pittsburgh leading Cincinnati 3-1, bottom of the 8th at the Great American Ballpark. Yankees leading Boston 3-2 at Fenway. That's in the top of the 8th. Jeter not in that lineup. Toronto leading Baltimore 4-2 after 8 up in Canada. Up high out of the zone, couldn't get it. He gone. Breaking ball.
That one had the whole plate. Hosmer looks surprised. You'll see on Xfinity Pitch Tracks, this is a very good pitch.
4 strikeouts now for Hector. So here's Butler, 1 for 2. That RBI single in the 1st inning. Nothing into the count. There's a rolling curveball hit hard, but we got a man there right out in Jimmy John's territory. 2 down. And our Sox and Camarena Tequila both know that giving anything less than 100% just is not good enough. That's why Camarena only offers award-winning 100% blue agave tequila. And with 6 generations of tequila excellence infused into every bottle, Camarena is always smooth and never harsh. Camarena Tequila, official tequila, your Chicago White Sox. Alex has struck out, and then he just missed hitting one out of here. Taking Danks back up against the fence and right. That's the right side, but wrong shape.
Pitch number 92 on the way.
Yes, he did. Could not check it up. Be gone. That'll retire the side. 5 strikeouts now for Hector. And since the first inning, he has been very good.
Rips one in the left. Konerko, grand slam.
And of course, everybody, all Sox fans, will always remember that grand slam, October 23rd, against Chad Qualls. We were trailing 4-2. All of a sudden, a 6-4 lead. That's October 23rd, 2005. We trail here 3-0. 3-6-0 for them, 0-3-0 for us. It'll be Ramirez, Abreu, and Gillespie. Anibal Sanchez on the bump now for Detroit in relief. Gap out there in right center if he can find it. And that is a can of corn. So one out, that'll bring up Abreu, and you can join the White Sox Kids Club presented by the University of Chicago Medicine Coma Children's Hospital, because they're teaming up with a healthy lifestyle to combat childhood obesity. Visit WhiteSox.com/kids. Close pitch. Guthrie didn't get it. Gray with that hard first inning single back through the middle, and he went out to left center.
The key for any of these Kansas City starting pitchers is get them into the 7th inning with a lead. You've got some guys behind you in that bullpen that can usually make it stand up.
One and two. Get on the fist. They have a 90-game schedule down in Cuba. And this will be the 135th game for Abreu. There for a while, it looked like he hit a little bit of a wall. But has come out of it.
That one chased him off the perch in the dugout. Tied for third in home runs. Fourth in runs batted in. First in slugging percentage. Take a look at the award. What a year.
We saw some history on a daily basis as he goes down for out number 2. 5 strikeouts now. They'll bring up Gillespie. Yeah, it was fun coming to the ballpark. In the next few years, it's going to be fun coming to the ballpark. Abreu, Avisaíl Garcia. Talked about before the game. Back just a little sore. Eaton. Some good young players. And Kane's going to get him again. So 1-2 for inning, and we're into the 7th.
And Michael Cueto comes into it. He's 0-1, ERA 4.76 on for the 28th time. Opponents don't hit him. He has walked a few too many this year. But if he ever harnesses that control, he will be a very big weapon out of the bullpen.
So Hector Noesi gave up 3 really quick runs. 2 before anybody were out in the first inning. And after that, what a good bounce back. Giving up only 2 hits, so a quality start for Noesi. Going 6 innings and giving up 3 or less runs.
On 6 hits, a couple of walks, 5 strikeouts.
So here's Perez. Salvador is popped up to right and fouled out to Pauly. And once again, just tuning in to not hear. Vigo, 1 out. Pauly playing tonight. He's going to play tomorrow. Obviously, that's his day, Paul Konerko Day. He'll be playing his name with us. There's still some seats left. And he also is going to play on Sunday. So if you can't get the seats you want tomorrow, come on out Sunday. Final 3 games of his illustrious career. I hate to see great players retire. That's what baseball is made of. Great players, great rivalries, great tradition. That's why we all love it so much. The 0-2. There you go. 2 down.
He just leaned back into a fastball. And at 99, he better decide in a hurry. That ball had the whole plate with some late movement. And Infante couldn't pull the trigger.
Moustakas has walked. And it into a 4-3 double play. 1 of 2 turned by the Sox tonight. Lead the major leagues in turning double plays with 169. Nice crowd on hand. As I mentioned, there are some seats, a few seats left for tomorrow. See, all his grand slam went. That's out of play left side. A lot of memories. 14. A lot of memories. All he did was come in and punch out the side. 7th inning stretch. We trail it 3-0. Home half of the 7th inning. And we trail it 3-0.
Lorenzo Cain will shift over to right. Jared Dyson will come in the game in center field.
Well, defensively, this outfield is just about as good as it gets. You can move. Lorenzo Cain out of center to the corner. And then all of a sudden you got a Gold Glover out there and left.
3-time Gold Glover. I don't think anything's going to fall unless it's a line drive rocket. If it has any height to it, someone's going to run under it out there.
They have the best defensive team in this division. They have the best bullpen in this division.
There's no doubt about that.
No doubt about either one of them. Paulie, 0 for 2, strikeout, and a bounce back to the pitcher. Two balls, two strikes. Checks it up and a full count.
Guthrie time for his team lead in home runs with 23. Shields also has given up 23.
The ball hit deep in the right center field, but they got a man there back right in front of the trap and holds it in. So here's Jordan, 0 for 2, a couple of strikeouts. Takes ball 1. Pull the string on him right there.
Part of the big three in that bullpen: Kelvin Herrera, Wade Davis, Greg Holland.
Watch out on that breaking ball. Almost dehorned it. That boy Jordan. That's just our 4th hit.
Matt Lindstrom starts to throw in the pen.
Top of the 8th now at Comerica Park. Minnesota leading the Tigers 10-4. And as you know, Kansas City holds on here, covers these last 8 outs. Just be a 1-game difference with 2 to go.
if they tie, which is a distinct possibility, Kansas City will have to go to Detroit for the playoff. That's what it looks like coming into tonight. Cleveland is going to fall short. Kansas City, well, they think that Minnesota's probably done their job. The question is, can they get their job done here?
Well, most valuable person on the Cleveland team this year has got to be Mickey Callaway.
Done a terrific job with starting rotation. The bullpen has been probably better than expected, especially after the loss of Joe Smith, Chris Perez, Tony Sipp. The job on Carrasco has been magnificent that Callaway's done, as whatever he did. And Kluber had shown signs of being a good pitcher, but this year, 18-9 with a 2.44 ERA for Corey Kluber.
Dropper down to Gordon. And they can't count it. So 2 down. Sox fans, we want to hear from you. So visit WhiteSox.com/TV survey during today's game. Provide us your feedback for 2 tickets to a select White Sox home game and a chance to win a signed Paul Konerko jersey and other memorabilia. Watch out. Kluber now with 269 strikeouts. Monty sucks it up, and that'll retire the side. We're into the 8th. We still trailing 3-0.
Royals so far. As you can see, leading off the ball game with Escobar, Aoki, and Kane. Now they're 4 for 9, 3 runs, double driven in, a stolen base. Guthrie's been magnificent in 7 innings, 4 hits, no runs. You can start something special with great leases and low financing at your new Honda dealer. Visit shophonda.com or your local Honda dealers. Matt Lindstrom comes in at 2-2, his ERA up over 5 on for the 35th time.
It's the top of the order for the Royals. Escobar, Dyson, and Kane. First pitch strike. That's into right center field. Gordon Dax. And Major League Baseball proudly celebrates the life and legacy of Roberto Clemente. Roberto Clemente. And his day recognizes one player from each club who best represents the game of baseball through positive contributions on and off the field. Visit ChevyBaseball.com to learn more. What a player. 21. Bobby. He has wide shoulder. Big, heavy bat. Former players will understand the U1. 36-36. There's a chopper. Paulie will take it himself. So Dyson is retired.
When they get by the 7th, Herrera usually sits down. It becomes Wade Davis and Greg Holland.
So here's Lorenzo Cain. He's 1 for 3 with an RBI and a run scored, stolen base. Stole his 28th back in the first inning. And of course, our club's nominee for the Roberto Clemente Award this year. Who else?
Daniel Webb and Scott Snodgrass listening in the pen.
Our guys have retired. The last 12 Royals they have faced. There's the strike. 2-1.
Royals have only managed 2 singles since that fateful first. Unfortunately, Hector went out. Couldn't get acclimated. The time he did, he settled it down, but still down 3-0.
Skinner, boy, down there with him. So that is 13 in a row retired. We'll go nice inning for Lindstrom.
97.5 FM, ESPN Deportes, Chicago's first and only Spanish language sports radio station. Wade Davis comes in the ball game. We saw Davis last night. He pitched an inning and handed it over to Holland. 9-2 ERA, .89 on for the 71st time. Opponent sitting a paltry 146 against him. Absolutely beautiful calligraphy.
Here's Marcus. He is 1 for 2. Takes first pitch strike from the big right-hander out. Lake Wales, Florida. And count 0-2.
Had to throw a slider. That one bounced in front of the plate.
High pop up. Back and in the seats. Carroll on the bounce and the grab. Happy camper. Pretty good pitch. 1 down.
It's 96 at the knees on the inner portion of the plate. This will get a few up. See where Perez wants it. By the time it gets to him, it's low, but crosses the plate around the knees.
Here's Adam. He's grounded to short, struck out, and grounded to second. Terrific job by Guthrie. 7 innings, no runs, 4 hits, 1 walk. Five strikeouts. And there's a base hit. Get by, and they will. So he's going to run for a while. And pick up his 10th triple. That will bring the 27,416 to their feet, putting their hands together.
Our fourth drive of the game, and Adam crushes this one. This is a slider, doesn't do a whole lot. He goes down and gets it. And drives it by Dyson, who's got some big speed, but he was playing over in the left center field. And the one pitch that Adam can pull is going to be that slider. So he hits it away from the defense. He's 90 feet away from getting the Sox on the scoreboard.
So a good chance for Alexei, who's 0 for 3. Pick his 73rd RBI. Fouls that one back.
Yost has him playing back in the infield, conceding the run. He'll gladly trade the run for the out here.
Big rip in the count 0-2.
Davis has only thrown 1 wild pitch this year. That's testament to the catching core of the Royals, because he does throw a lot of hard sliders, and his wipeout pitch will wind up in the dirt quite a bit.
So look on that board and keep the inning going. A 3-1 ball game.
Eaton usually does when he does get a board, and that's score a run. That's his 74th run scored. And for Alexei, on a fastball low and away, he drives in his 73rd run of the year.
Now one swing of the bat. And here is Jose. He's 1 for 3. Breaking ball strike. Ball to the ball. Good. Outfield straight up and very much spread out. Big gap in left center. Big gap in right center. Just a short lead by Alexei. Goes through that one at 98. Two down.
That one might have been as hard a slider as you'll see. 93 miles an hour, low and away. Slider spin on it.
But 93, it doesn't have to break much.
He doesn't have a chance to break much.
No, it does not. The toughest sliders to hit, not the big breakers. It's real tight with a little tilt to it. Gillespie. He's 0 for 3. Paulie on deck. 3-6-0 for them. 1-6-0 for us. The ninth in Detroit, 11 for Minnesota. On the 7th in Texas, 6-2-0. Watch it.
Not a good call.
Nope.
Rob Gregg missed one, and you can tell by Perez, he yanks it way back in the zone. Xfinity pitch tracks, it's high and away. That's a huge call.
Top goal into the Kansas City dugout.
ERA just over 5, on for the 34th time. He'll be facing Hosmer, Butler, and Gordon.
Hosmer is 0 for 2 with a walk. Couple of strikeouts. Breaking ball, no. One and one to count. Butler on that. Gordon in the hole. And tomorrow, Paul Konerko will have his day in front of a big crowd. Still 2 seats left as that's in the left field. We got a man there. Michael. And he also would be playing on Sunday. Seats available for Sunday's game. So here's Billy B. He is 1 for 3. RBI single. That was in the first inning. Kansas City can hang on here. It'll be a 1-game difference between the Royals and the Tigers. Tomorrow will be Nolasco for Minnesota. And Lobstein for Detroit. There's a base hit. Butler now 2 for 4. And it'll probably be Gore coming off. And here's a look at my all-time favorite player right there, Jordan Webb. What a player.
Terrence Gore, the speed burner, on for Billy Butler. Did the same thing in last night's game. Eventually scoring a run.
Gordon is 0 for 3. A couple of strikeouts, and he just missed hitting home run, taking Danks up against the fence in right field. Checks it up. Want to know the count. Mentioned earlier, large contingent of the front office of Kansas City. And a lot of the people that help them get some of these good young players in the scouting system. Mark Stewart. Wrote a book, of course, that we mentioned the other day, 7 decades of scouting. There's a pitch out, nothing on. Donnie Williams, one of the best scouts in baseball in that group.
Thinks he did a nice job of swatting it over to Connor Gillespie at third so he could head Gore off. That little guy can really run. It's pretty much an automatic stolen base.
Well, you better get somebody hanging out around second or he's going to steal third. He's got if you don't hang out around second, he's got a better chance of stealing third than the guy at the plate's got a chance of hitting the ball through the vacated spot. So you better have somebody.
Well, Lexi's right behind him.
That might not be close enough. Breaking ball strike. Tony La Russa used to do that better than anybody. It was really pretty simple. As that's popped up. There's a left-handed hitter. He just takes a shortstop and put him right behind the guy. One step behind the guy. There's a right-handed hitter. He takes a second baseman, put him one step when you could not allow the stolen base.
And here comes Robin. He's going to the pen.
So a streak of 14 in a row where he was broken by that single by Butler. Retired. Bullpen's been doing a good job. He departs and we'll be back.
The 56th time, and he inherits very fast Terrence Gore at second base. There you look at the numbers as the Royals trying desperately to get one more run before they bring in their closer.
So here's Salvador. He's popped up to right, popped up to first. That was in foul ground and struck out. Gore at second, 2 out. And there's a fastball at 97. Another one of our good arms in that bullpen. That only problem being is throwing enough strikes.
Plato and Webb can both do that.
Oh,
two very valuable men.
I talked to hitters, the opposing hitters, about it. They don't like either one of them.
Can't blame them. They're throwing anywhere from 97 to 100.
But again, it's 2-0-3-1. I don't care how good your arm is. You're not going to pitch in the major leagues 2-0-3-1. If they learn how to get that first pitch strike, get the ball over the plate, they both could be closers. He gone. We go to the bottom of the ninth. We trail it 3-1.
You can put it on the board. Yes. Hell yes. Number 400 for Konerko. And this game is tied at 2. Marcy, number 400 for Paulie.
That was in the ninth inning against Grant. Foul 4. The game was tied at 2. April 25th, 2012. 400 home runs for Paulie. And here he comes up to the plate.
And he's got his work cut out for him because he's facing the closer. Let's look at Greg Holland. ERA 147 on for his 65th time. 45 out of 47 in save opportunities.
That'll work.
He has for 2 years now. He had 47 saves last year.
First pitch strike from that little right-hander. Paulie 0 for 3 last time. Almost went out of here to deep right center field. Checks it up. Once again, a reminder, Paulie will be playing tomorrow and Sunday, both. That one at 96. contact back just below us. What grown men will do for a baseball.
Risk life and limb in many instances, diving over seats.
Yeah. And have a good time doing it. Sort of saw Paulie right here. Let's give him a finish. There's a shot right at it. Boy, that's a hang whiffing right there for Konerko. His last two at bats, he has just absolutely tattooed it. Meanwhile, one out.
Well, the bat speed is there.
Oh, he can still cover the fastball. And he can still play first base. And he can still play. But he's not.
Yep. There you look at the most impressive numbers. Great career. 6-time American League All-Star. Of course, 2005 World Series champion.
So here's Jordan. And since this is our last GN and CIU game, I want to thank everybody, all the crew, John Wallgren, producer, Deb Merrill, Paul's back, Clay, Courtney Turlick, intern, for a job well done. One and one to count. One and two. Michael Taylor on deck. Two down. So it's up to Michael. He's 1 for 2. A walk, a single, and a ground out. This ball game will be over. Royals have just clinched a playoff spot for the first time since 1985. And it also puts them within one game of the Tigers. And our congratulations go out to David Glass, Dayton Moore. They have worked very hard to get this team into this position, and they are finally here.
What a job by Guthrie tonight. An exuberant ball club. 1985, the last time they were in the playoffs. They've got a wild card clinched, but they're looking for more. Only a game back of the Detroit Tigers.
Yeah, this is not enough for them right now. Not with the club they've got. As we've said, this is a tough team to beat. So as they celebrate, you never want to see a celebration of this kind on your field, but this has a little different meaning because it's been since 1985. I am very happy for one of the best owners in the game, David Glass, and his organization. And we'll be back.